My name's Christopher Eades, and this is my wife, Angela Eades. We live here on 344 Mallard Road in Hico, and as you can see, probably some of the footage you'll see here is our home was destroyed Tuesday afternoon after the tornado come through around 4:30, somewhere around 4:30 that afternoon. My wife, Angela, she had just got home from work. We'd had no power from the previous storms earlier in the day, so we were like, well, let's just run to Summersville, get something to eat. Probably won't have power for a while. And she said, okay, let's go. And I was on the phone with my mom, and she said in Anstead they was getting hail, a lot of storms, a lot of wind, and she said, you guys need to hold off a little bit, let the storm pass. And I hung up the phone with her and got a severe thunderstorm alert on my phone. And Angel said, well, let's just go ahead and hold off and wait a few minutes. She said, but I left the car running. I'm going to go turn the car off. And so she got up to go out to turn her vehicle off. And, at that point, I'm going to let her tell you this portion because, from her experience, what happened from that point. But as she exited the front door to go to her car, I then got a tornado warning when she was probably halfway to the car. So that's kind of the timeline of that so far.
I was actually kind of annoyed when he said, well, let's just hold off. I was like, okay, well, let me go turn the car off. And I walked out the front door, and literally 2 drops of rain hit me in the head, and I could see wind whipping up a little bit, and I thought, oh, okay. So I ran out to my car and hit the button to turn my car off, and about that time, the wind just completely hit the door, hit me in the back of the legs, and I looked up, and I remember looking in Pete and Jennifer's yard, and I could see all their trees just completely laying flat like dominoes is the only way that I know how to explain it. And about that time I was like, my gosh, I better get in the house. I had dress boots on, and all I could think of was don't slip. And I was kind of laughing. I could hear my kids laughing at me saying, look at Mom, she's out there grabbing her Stanley cup in her purse. And by the time I got to the front door, the wind was so strong it had me pinned up to the siding where the front door was. My little boy had the door wide open and was grabbing my hand, pulling me in the door, and I was still just kind of mesmerized by what was happening. It was just so traumatic that I couldn't even realize what was going on. I stopped in the living room to look out the windows, and Chris is screaming, get in the bathroom. I stopped in the living room, and I'm looking out the windows at Pete and Jennifer's house at those trees that were just completely bending. I mean, humongous trees are completely laying flat on the ground. And about that time I got into the bathroom, and Chris is screaming, get down, this is real. And I feel like I just still didn't even realize what was happening. And I looked up and I said, Chris, we just lost the roof. And you couldn't hear anything. It was so loud. It was like pressure in your chest, vibration from the wind and whatever was happening. And he said, what? I said, the roof, we just lost the roof. And he looked up, and you could see the light coming through where we had a skylight or a light in the shower. And about that time, it was just dead silence and calm. And he said, y'all just wait here. I'm going to go see what happened. And about that time, he came out of the bathroom, looked out the window, and he said, my gosh, we've just lost everything. And I was like, what? So I came out of the bathroom, and I looked around. I could see just stuff piled on my back porch. I looked out the front door. Jennifer's house, the roof was off. We were scattering around trying to find our phones, trying to get a hold of Pete, or trying to get a hold of Jennifer, because we knew Pete wasn't there. And about that time, we all came out of the house, and the only thing we could do was just run over to Jennifer and hug them and say, oh my gosh, what in the world just happened? But we're alive. I mean, just the craziest experience I have ever been through in my life.
So after that was all said and done, thankfully we live in a community that is absolutely amazing, and born and raised in West Virginia, and I can tell you the community cares. We care in this community, and we often say we're all family, and there's a lot of truth to that. I can tell you that Nick Mooney, who's a very close friend of ours, called us shortly after and said, "Are you okay?" And he said he could tell by my voice that it wasn't good, and he said, "I'll get to you, I'll be there." And within a very short period of time, he was here along with one of my very best friends in my life is David Boley, who lives down the road. He actually works for me. They were made aware, and he was able to get here pretty quick. But I can tell you that within an hour and a half, the whole community was here, and the days to follow of cleanup and packing our home and trying to get everything out to salvage. We packed our house in 2 hours. There were so many people here. I never arranged a U-Haul. I never arranged a storage unit. And all I was told was, it's paid for, it's taken care of, don't worry about it. We've been fed, we've been taken care of, we've had homes offered to us to live in for rent-free for however long it takes. So we've had a lot in this community offered to us, and we could never re-thank everybody. We could never name everybody that's come to our aid. The local churches, the fire departments, the deputies, EMS, everybody has been phenomenal, and we're blessed and we're very thankful. We're most thankful that we walked away from a situation that could have been a lot different. All that you see here is all material, and we know that and understand that. And yes, we've built our lives around our home and put a lot of work into it. But we'll rebuild, and I said the other day, we'll rebuild and we'll come back stronger because we're West Virginians, and that's what we do here. And we have so much support. My family's phenomenal. So we're blessed. Even though through a tragic situation, we've been blessed with so much help around us in this community. Nuttall Fire, unbelievable, everything they've offered. So we're blessed and thankful. We're in the cleanup phase now. Insurance company's already been here. They have totaled our house out. They will be back Tuesday to do some inventory stuff with us. But at that point, we're going to be ready here for some cleanup that we haven't been ready for, waiting insurance adjusters and things like that. So really, we just kind of come back each day and see if there's anything else we can salvage from the home or any other memory we find laying around. And we have stuff scattered through these woods and hard to tell where, but we were able to salvage things from our home, and we're thankful for that as well. So we look for later this week to have an opportunity, hopefully, to start the demolition process and the rebuild. And once again, Rick Lewis, phenomenal. Him and his wife Susan have been just phenomenal in all aspects of everything that's going on here. Has already reached out to us and said, "Hey, we're trying to get this work party back together for Saturday. If everything's clear with your insurance, we're going to come. We're going to demo the house, and we're going to haul everything off and help you get a fresh start." So for that, we're super thankful. But at the end of the day, what matters the most to me is that God watched over us that day. He has a plan for all of this, and we know. We don't understand why, maybe, but we know it was his plan, and we will rebound, and we're going to get through it, and we're going to keep our heads up because that's what we do.